Welcome, everybody, to our BNI Talks webinar. My name is Steve Tenuso, your host, and today I have got Jenni and Zach. You may remember them from a few weeks back when we just started rolling out BNI Online 2.0, and now we're kind of into it now at this point. And so we're really excited to share some information for you. For those of you who haven't been on it before, this is something for you to really jump into. There's some really amazing things. I was just saying before we actually went officially live on this webinar that I love an online meeting, and I love the way that we're looking at making these online meetings better and getting better engagement and leading to really more referrals and making your chapter experience the best it could possibly be. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our friends, Jenni and Zach.
Thank you, Steve. We are excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are here kind of as a tag team. Zach and I have been working together on this for probably, I don't know, like 3 months now or so, would you say,
It's
Zach?
not longer. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to make your online experience better. We are embracing enthusiastically the core value, BNI's core value of traditions plus innovation. And I was on a call not long ago, maybe it was with you, Zach, where somebody said, if people aren't able to use the app, will they be able to get onto a meeting the old-fashioned way? And I think it's funny, we've moved so quickly now that Zoom is the old-fashioned way, and BNI Online 2.0 is the innovation part. And so we are going to give you a slight overview, not a slight, more than that slide, maybe a comprehensive overview of some of the best features and aspects of it. Zach is going to do that. And then as we talk about each of those features, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it will be like in your chapter as you use this and how it would be a good strategy to increase referrals and help your chapter online experience be even better. So as we are going through this, like Steve said, put your questions in the Q&A. The chat may go fast with stories that you have, but we want to be able to come back to the Q&A when we're finished. And we also have a few people on our call today. I meant to email you three, but we have a member and a CSC and a managing director who have been using the BNI Online 2.0 in their online meetings. And we are going to hear what's working, how they like it, and how it's helping their chapter experience. So all of that and more for one CEU. Hard to pack it all in, but boy, we are going to try. Anything you want to add to that overview, Zach?
Absolutely not. I think you did a great job. I do want to clarify here up front. As the name sort of states, this is for our online and hybrid chapters only. I think Jessica put it in the chat as well that this is designed for our members currently as well. So if you are a visitor, you're still going to join through the old-fashioned Zoom, as we just talked about, and the innovative members will get to join for our online and hybrid chapters, get to use BNI Online 2.0.
Right. Okay. Shall we begin?
Absolutely.
All right. Why don't you give us just a quick overview of what each of these 4 things is and why they're going to be good for us?
Absolutely. So we'll start at the top here. So there's the Ask of the Week report, and that's going to be a super value for all of our members. What's really cool about the Ask of the Week is that to use the Online 2.0 functionality, you actually have to enter in your Ask of the Week to join your chapter meeting, and that gets saved in the platform itself. And so every member that logs into Online 2.0, that not only is that meeting, but the previous 4 meetings that you also join, all of those asks get saved, and you can have a printout or there's a Excel spreadsheet that's created with all of those asks in it that can be sent around to all of your chapter members. So you don't have to worry about writing it down or forgetting who asked what. It's all quick and easy in the system for you and saved to save a lot of time there. And then there's also the quick and easy one-to-one request piece. And I think it's within 3 clicks, you can send an email to your fellow chapter members. And so one of the ways that we want to make this easiest is we know that sometimes even just starting the process of the one-to-one is a little bit of a challenge. And so we've made it really easy for you by just making 3 clicks, you hit send on an email, and it at least gets the conversation started, finding the date and the time. You can work on that sort of afterwards, but the puts in the door, if you will. And then there's obviously your contact information for all of your fellow members. There's a huge list for your entire chapter, and it's got all of the fun things in it. What seat you hold in the chapter, what business you work for, all of your contact information, and that's readily and permanently available to you, even during and outside of the meeting. Well, all of these features are available to you during and outside of the meeting, which is really cool. And so if I'm looking for a member email and I don't have to track them down and connect, I can always go into BNI Online 2.0, and is readily available to me there as well. And then finally, your chapter and member stats, which are really cool because they show how your chapter is tracking over the last 4 weeks. And so not only for myself, but I can see it for my chapter, and we can hold ourselves accountable to be successful.
I love it. I want to know more. So let's continue.
Perfect.
All right. Tell us about these stats for our chapters and members.
Absolutely. You can see here, this is actually from our test chapter. So not every chapter is passing $87 billion of Thank You for Closed Business over the last 4 weeks. We totally understand that. But what's really cool about this, right, is that it shows Thank You for Closed Business, referrals, CEUs, one-to-ones. And I'm going to pause here actually, and I'm going to say, in this call here, we're actually showing the next version that's being released. And so some additional features are already included in these screenshots that we're showing. So I know that if you're currently a user of BNI Online 2.0, the only 4 things you can see is Thank You for Closed Business, referrals, CEUs, and one-to-ones. But in this picture, you can actually see we've added visitors. That was highly requested by all of you. And so we've already made that feature change, and it will be in our next release coming to you all soon. And so, yeah, visitors are now included in this as well. And that's great because it just puts those statistics right in front of you instantly, right? And so you don't have to go digging through Connect or searching through everything. It just puts all that information available to you during your chapter meeting. So you can say, how am I doing? You know, obviously over my last 4 weeks, I haven't been very good. You know, I have no one-to-ones or anything like that. And so I should be reaching out to fellow members in my chapter and start some one-to-ones with them so I can get continuing on those and sort of just catch up on the metrics that I want to maintain a certain degree, for a week or whatever. So, and then it also does the same thing for your chapter. So if I'm a president or a vice president, I can say, hey guys, usually on a 4-week tally, we have 60 one-to-ones, but this week we're down to 32. Maybe we should all do 2 extra this week just so we can bump those numbers up, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. Some of you probably might be playing along at home, and you might be trying to open the app and log into your chapter just to kind of see what we're doing. And you could, but you could have 2 windows open and do this while you're on the webinar with us. You could look because you don't have to be in the meeting to log into the meeting. And then you can see these things, but your screen will look different because remember that this is a pilot. And so we are still working out, and Zach and the product team are working hard to get your feedback. And that's why we're having this webinar, even though it feels like we might have just had one a month or 2 ago. But we want to get your feedback. We want it to work as well as possible. But one of the things that you can do by pulling this up during the meeting or even right before your meeting is to connect this to what your personal goals are. And if you are using, for example, the Gains Exchange when you're doing your one-to-ones, which we hope you are, you may have some personal BNI goals that you want to have a one-to-one every week until you've gone through all of the chapters members, and then you're going to have a second round and do A, B, or C. You may have an individual goal that you want to bring 2 visitors a month, whatever. You can check your goals during and before the meeting by looking at your stats within the app rather than having to go to BNI Connect or find it somewhere else. Also, when your VP is giving the VP report, or if you are the VP and you're giving the report, you can check your individual contributions against what the chapter stats are to see how you are, which is what we do when we do a power of 1 and then the chapter traffic lights. We're measuring how much I'm doing in the chapter, which is my contribution. And that's the power of 1 person in there, or 1 referral a week, 1 meeting a week. And then we get to see how it plays out when everybody is doing that, so everyone's business can grow. So I think this is a great one. I'm so glad that they're adding visitors to that, because all we hear, and probably Steve, as you hear people talking on these webinars, how do we get more visitors? How do we invite people? How do we grow our chapters? That's what networking is. So this is a great new feature that they're already asking for, and they're giving it to us.
Right.
Good. Okay. Let's start with the next one, shall we?
All right. So here's the member card. And we've jumped a little bit into the one-to-one piece on here as well. But so the member card, you can see it off to the left there. We're showing Mark Kloss. And so in that top left box, you can see it says BNI Professional. For you guys, it wouldn't say BNI Professional. That would be the actual seat that you have in the chapter. So if I'm a plumber, that would say plumber. If I'm a financial advisor, that's what it's going to say there for me. The second box is going to be your business. And so obviously I work for BNI. But for you, if if I'm like I said, if I'm a life insurance salesman, it's going to say MetLife or whatever. It goes along. A financial advisor might say Ameriprise, whatever your company is, right? And then followed by that's obviously going to be your email and then your phone number and then how long you've been a member since, which is really cool. And then following on to that is the ask of the week. And that's what you have to enter in every single week when you join your chapter meeting. Mark obviously Cole, because we're in the holiday season. So, and then in each person's member card, you have the opportunity there to do a one-to-one request with them, or you can see the ask report for that individual as well. So if I click on the little eyeball right there under the first one on the left under the ask report, it's actually going to show me Mark specifically the last 4 asks for his 4 previous meetings, right? Which is really neat. And so you can do that for every single one of your chapter members. And then I think we'll touch on the one-to-one request a bit later as well. So I'll leave that for now. But that's kind of the key thing in your member card with your member information.
Yeah. And when you get into the app, you will see when you do members, you'll see this is an expanded version, but you'll see all of your members listed here. So even if you're not in your meeting, this is a great place to go to open up the app and just log in to see your chapter. And instead of going into BNI Connect or onto the BNI regional website that you have to find what is the phone number, what's the email, you can find all your member information within the app. And that's going to be just for your chapter, of course. But then you can reach out to the people if you want to do a one-to-one or if you have a question or whatever. Plus, you'll be able to access this in the meeting to go, oh, yeah, that reminds me, you just gave your weekly presentation. I wanted to tell you something. I can text it to you, or I can email you, or I can just start that process while I'm thinking about it and come back to it after the meeting. Very helpful to have your member info right there, especially if you have a big chapter. BNI Connect has 290,000 people in it. Sometimes you only want to search through the 25 or 30 who are in your chapter.
Absolutely.
It goes way faster. All right, that is the member information.
Yep.
So let's talk about this, because I love that this is a feature, but I'm excited for you to tell us how this all comes to pass and we get the information, and then to talk about how it's good for our members and how we use it.
Yes. So this is sort of touching on the first one that we talked about, the ask of the week, right? And this gives you the option of, like I said, when you first log into your meeting, you have to enter your ask of the week. And so it's stored in the system for us. And then you take that, and this answers your question, Owen, as well. And so where do you find it? This appears in one spot for you to actually download the list. But you can see this is a quick snippet, but there's the 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner of BNI Online 2.0 on the main screen. We can see if we can show that here shortly. From the actual main screen itself, there's 2 options, but the menu is in that top right corner with these 3 little dots. We actually call it a kebab menu. And in that menu, you should be able to access all of this great information. You can see here, there's member, the chapter stats, my stats, and then the ask report, right, which are the main things that we're talking about today. So that's all listed for you in that menu. And that menu is both inside the meeting once you enter your ask of the week, but also before. So when you hit that landing page and you haven't entered your ask of the week yet, that menu is still there where you can access all of these features. Okay. So back to the ask of the week. Sorry, side tangent there. So the ask of the week, as I mentioned, it downloads the previous 4. You can see here for my chapter, we have Vijaya, Vimala, and then myself. We've all been to the same 4 meetings, and so our previous 4 meetings all showed here in October, and we have similar asks, just sort of rotated around in our test version. But you can see that it says your name and then whatever seat you have in your chapter. We're updating this to also add contact information like phone number and email as well, so you can just access it right then and there. And then on top of that, you can see the 4 asks over that time frame for that 4 weeks, right? And so you can see here. We only had enough space for 3 of us because our list was full. But if you could imagine that nobody in your chapter is using it, those would all be blanks and it doesn't really impact you. And so the more people you have in your chapter using it, the more these spaces get filled and the more asks you have you can take with you to either your next marketing event or whatever. I'm sure Jenni will elaborate on that shortly, but the more people in your chapter that use it and the larger this list gets, the more impactful that is for you as a member and also for your chapter, right? So Jenni, I'll let you take over on that thought because I'm sure you have many things to say.
Well, I think the positioning here is important because with this and a lot of things that we try to develop in BNI, sometimes we hear members push back a little and say, well, why do we have to do this new thing? And why are you changing it? When in fact, if you chose to continue going to your online meetings with Zoom and never use this at all, nothing would change. You would still have a great experience. So we're not trying to change anything that's working for you. We want to enhance your online experience by giving you this option so that if you were to log in with the app and put your ask of the week in here, week over week, the rest of your members will not only remember what you said that week because we're fully engaged and we're taking notes and we're trying to pass you referrals very intentionally, but I will also be able to trigger my memory in 2 weeks from now, what you asked for at that meeting. Oh, but I can't quite remember. You were looking to meet somebody and I'm about to go into a meeting and I think I'm going to download this report and I'll be able to see what everybody asked for the last 4 weeks. And then if I'm at a chamber of commerce or I'm meeting with clients, I'm able to say, oh, I actually know somebody who's looking for somebody like you. Do you mind if I do an introduction? And it's a way to generate referrals all week long that are specifically what your members are asking for. So the advantage is if you're using this and other people in your chapter are using this, all of you are helping each other keep your last 4 asks of the week top of mind. And the people who are logging in on Zoom, you're still having a great experience. You're writing down what people are saying. But when you're not putting in your ask of the week, you're not top of mind for the rest of the people. So to your point earlier, Zach, the more people using this app, the better, because I have way more resources to bring to my own clients. For example, if you're a general contractor and you meet with a client and they say, but my wife, her birthday's tomorrow, I got to get, oh, I know a florist. Hold on, I got, and so between your member list and your asks of the week, we're making it a more robust activity between your meetings to pass referrals to each other and make introductions and invite people to your chapter. And I'm pretty sure that's why you all pay for your membership, so you can expand your networks. And so I think this is worth the price of admission, and the price of admission is free. So this is, I think, the #1 feature, in my opinion.
I have to, by the way, give a shout out to all of those people in chapters who have been doing this for years manually.
Yeah.
Writing everything down, throwing it onto a spreadsheet, emailing it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of those people who put in that extra effort, but here it is right in front of you, easy to access and to send.
Yeah, that is true. Because I know there are, some presidents or people in the chapters who are like, here, let me help all of you remember what we just talked about. Those are the chapters making money. If you can remember it and you're very intentional about it. Yeah, so good. All right, let's go to expand on the one-to-ones.
Absolutely. And so the one-to-one piece here, you can see where I'm in that same member card as we discussed before. This one's just for Rob. And you can see the little yellow or the red arrow, sorry, indicating directly where to look at. And what that does is that actually pre-populates an email for you that's already filled out. You can see it there on the left, maybe it's a little small, but it says I have the from box open, so it says my email, right? But it's directed directly to Rob, who's the person that I clicked on. It's got already filled in subject line, and it's got a little quick blurb message that says like, hey, Rob, I want to schedule a one-to-one to you. We know how important these are for our chapters. And so all you have to do really is change the date and time in there. A lot of things we've seen a lot of people talk about too is like a Calendly link, like for those of you that use those or anything of the similar sort, you can just delete the insert date and time piece here, and then just paste your Calendly link there, and then hit send. And it's already pre-filled. It's got your name, your contact information, right? And a little blurb about connecting. And so that way, again, within your meeting or whatever, it's like 3 clicks away, and you can click send just to get the conversation started around one-to-ones.
Yeah, and because the app is available and you can do all of this before, during, or after your meeting, you may choose to log in with the app and have these things available to you, but then just hide the window and go back to your Zoom screen. And then as someone says something that triggers you, I think this is going to be really good during feature presentations, especially for new members. Once they complete MSP and they are having their first feature presentation and the chapter's getting to know them, you will want to have a one-to-one with them. Or if you think, I just got a new client who has a whole bunch of people that could meet the need you just asked for. I need to know more. Let's connect. Because sending a text afterwards and hoping we remember is probably less effective than doing it while it's top of mind. And this makes it so easy just to have the email thread so that you can find a time.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's also good for us to remember, and maybe this is just kind of a best practices reminder, that especially for those of you who are in smaller chapters, say you only have 15 people in your chapter. And I know that we have a percentage of people in chapters that are small like that. Your network can still be very powerful. What we would recommend you do is talk about different aspects of your business, different products, different services, different niche markets you're looking for, and continue to have the one-to-ones, because I know the temptation is, well, I already had a one-to-one with everybody. I know what their business is and we're done. This is going to be a fast way for you to maybe think of a new angle for a one-to-one, because your businesses are changing. And 15 weeks ago, when you had a one-to-one with the person the last time, your business was different, their business was different, and it may spark something in you to keep having those conversations, change your goals, update your products and services, whatever it may be, to keep doing that. And you can also, not with this app, but you can have one-to-ones with people in other chapters. So don't forget, if you have a small chapter, it's really good to have one-to-ones with people, maybe in contact spheres that yours is not full in your chapter, but they have more people in a different chapter. One-to-ones in general can be very strategic referral sessions so that you can figure out how to get more referrals, and they don't have to just be in your chapter. That's just my public service announcement for one-to-ones. The end. Anything to add, Steve?
Unmute. No, that pretty much covers it. But by the way, since I'm looking at the chat, and a lot of people are asking, just to be clear, this is a desktop app. This is not a mobile app, at least at the moment, right? And so we're in very early stages here.
Yeah, and I'll hone in on that as well to say desktop being Mac OS based. So if you use like a Mac laptop or desktop, like a iPad Pro or an iMac or anything like that, those work. And the same thing on a Windows based PC. So if you're using Linux, unfortunately, it doesn't work for you. But you can go ahead and rule out, at the moment, we're ruling out anything that's tablet, even like a Chromebook, because those run off of a Chrome OS, which is not the same thing as Windows or Apple iOS's. And then any cell phone or anything like that as well. Unfortunately, it's not available to those right now. Right now, it's just for a computer, PC, desktop, whatever you want to call it, that is either Windows or Mac OS based.
Love it.
And this is also, for those who are talking about the mobile app, I've been reading chat as well. This is BNI Online 2.0, which is completely different to the BNI Connect mobile app. Right? Connect and Online 2.0 are two completely different systems, and so they function independently from one another. They may pull information or give information to one another, but they are completely separate. So anything that's going on in Connect is unrelated to BNI Online 2.0.
Right, and everything that is in the app is pulled from BNI Connect.
Correct.
So that's how we get the chapter stats and your member business and those kinds of things. Right. Right. And a lot of the answers to the questions that people have are going to be not yet, right? Because this is the first version of it.
Right.
So there are going to be things added and changed. From 0 to something is usually the heaviest lift. And so now we have something and we see the potential for it. So as people are saying, oh, well, these people can't be on it because they're on their phones, or these people can't do this, or it's not available to this system or something. Those things may be coming. They're just not available right now. And so you can savor the anticipation of good things to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a dedicated team of development team that works on this full time. So as we get feedback from you all, we are absolutely embracing it and turning around and creating improvements here. As I mentioned before, right? The visitor piece in the chapter of member statistics. That's not something that's available in the current version, but it's already, as you can see, we've got it implemented and updated. The same thing with your business being in your member card. Your business wasn't originally noted. You can actually see it here. Rob just has the 4 options: his seat that he holds, his email, phone number, and how long he's been a member since. But in the other one-to-one cards that we have showing the member card, you can actually see that we've added business in. So we have both pieces represented here. This is the current version, and in the previous one, you can see that we have business included as well. So there are tons of little additions plus big additions that we are working on in Online 2.0 and creating and fixing and improving. So it is very much a work in progress, but always being improved.
Yes. And I'm seeing a couple of things in here about where to get the app. So I think maybe while we are hearing from some people, because we are going to hear a couple of maybe 2 or 3 people who are using the app in their chapters. While that is happening, we will try to find some of the links and installation instructions to put into the chat so that you can do that right now. Otherwise, you will want to check with your managing director or your chapter success coach. They can give you all of those things, or we have some great contact information on the last slide. So you'll have resources and support, answers to your questions, and how to download and install the app and all of those things at the end of the call today. And we'll send you those links also. I can give those to Steve, and you do a follow-up email after this with the slide presentation, right, Steve? Yeah, so we can get that to you as well. So you will not go to sleep tonight without the information you need to get the app onto your computers.
Absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of these people who are out there in the world using this, we have some people who are in the western part of the US because we rolled this out. It's just the US core right now, and there was a pilot region earlier in the UK, but right now it is just US core chapters, but we started that even going west to east. So if those of you who are in the Eastern time zone feel like this is so new, this is crazy, why are we pushing this? It's because you're last and it's the most recent to you. But in Hawaii and the West Coast and the mid-central part of the country, we have been using this for about a month now. And so we wanted to hear from some people from Hawaii and Oregon who have had this now in their chapter meetings for 3 or 4 weeks. So it's not brand new to them, and they're starting to see some of the benefits. And so Steve is going to unmute and allow us to participate with Leah Halpert, who is a chapter success coach in Oregon, and Anna Rivers, who is the managing director of Oregon, as well as a member in Hawaii, Dana Robertson, who is a regular attendee of the webinars. And so Dana is a member, and Anna and Leah are both on the regional team. And we wanted to hear from them. First of all, I would love to hear if any of you could kind of estimate, and maybe Zach, you could even speak to this, about what percentage of the chapter would you say is using the app when you're logging in? And then I would like to hear how it's changing your chapter. Like, how is the online experience working for you? What's the buzz? What's happening, the vibe in your chapters? So if we can let these guys speak, I don't know how this works, Steve. Can they just speak and not be seen? Do they get to be on stage with us, or what?
Everyone is on stage right now, and they just need to unmute when they want to talk.
I love it. All right. Oh, I see them now. I had to stretch you out. Hi, Anna. Hi, Leah. Hi, Dana. Who has a most exciting? Let's start with you, Anna, because you've got all of your region. And so you have multiple chapters that you're looking at. What has been the feedback and how it's helping and benefiting chapters?
So number one is being able to track the referrals or asks of the week every single week. That's the number one piece of feedback for online only and hybrid chapters is how do we create more engagement so our members are actually paying attention?
Yeah.
I had a chapter who actually did a quick, like, somebody would win a gift if a member could say, okay, what did so-and-so ask for last week? And the majority of the chapter couldn't remember. But now that they're using BNI Online 2.0 and they have this tracking system, you're seeing the referrals increase because people are paying attention.
Yeah.
They have the resources, and there's a lot more engagement in the chapter meetings.
Oh, that is
Awesome.
perfect. The word you have me at engagement, because besides how do we get more visitors, we are constantly hearing from chapter leaders and coaches, how do we get the members engaged so they're not on a treadmill during our online meeting, or they're not driving a car? Like, how do we get them to pay attention and generate business for each other? So I love that this contributes to that. Yes.
I'd like to add on to that, if I may.
Yeah.
The easy emails for one-to-ones has been amazing as well for engagement, because we get these ideas while somebody's talking, oh, I need to do this. And then you kind of like slide Zoom over and you're in your email, and then you're like, oh, I have other stuff going on. And people have a tendency to try to multitask, which has been something, it's been quite the barrier for online chapters and hybrid chapters to get around. But having this simple one-to-one request already filled out, already set and ready to go, you don't have to look at anything else. You're like, oh, I need to do this. Boom, it's done. You're in the meeting. You get it out, you don't forget about it. And it's made things again with a lot better engagement. And having the members connecting even better. It's been fantastic.
What a great point to bring up, that because I know I will do that sometimes. Somebody says, I just emailed you this while I'm on a Zoom meeting, and I'll go, oh, let me pull that up. And then I go, oh, she emailed me. Oh, and you're immediately distracted because your whole inbox is in front of you. But this lets you send the one-to-one request without looking at all of the other things that are in your inbox. Great point, Leah. I love that. Because I think some people are saying, isn't it distracting to have all these things open? But you're really still focusing on the meeting, the purpose of the meeting.
Right.
Exactly. And Jessica just asked how this is different than just entering in the chat to someone personal. This way you can get it out without actually distracting the other person as well. You can get it into their inbox right away without having them pulled aside as well. Okay, what's your calendar look like? What's my calendar look like? You can just get it out and be like, okay, out and done. We'll talk about it after.
I'm having a physical, excited response to hearing what you guys are saying. Like, yes, that's all true. It's all in there. It's all in the package. Dana, fan the flame. What's happening in Hawaii in your chapter?
Okay, so we have a few people that are really enjoying using the app. I love the Ask of the Week section of it. We have had a few members. We have a really small chapter, I think 12 members. Some of our members have had difficulty installing the app and then executing it. When they try to load it up, it asks for their Ask of the Week, and then it boots them out. And so then they have to do it again, and then it boots them out. So they join through the old way, the old-fashioned way. So we have had a few hiccups, and as a leadership team, we've talked a little bit about maybe reaching out and getting some assistance so that we can really utilize this new tool.
Yeah. So I hear you saying there's great potential for it, and some people are on board. Once we smooth it out for you, it'll take off. Is that what I hear you saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we all see the value. A few of us do have to join from our phones, so that's unfortunate, but I have great hopes that someday in the future, the app will also be available for the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that's on our tally list. Unfortunately, that one's a little bit more complex. But I think it definitely, as we get more and more people asking about mobile, it's definitely on the to-do list, the short list of the to-do list, if you will. So.
Yeah.
Can I add really quick to what Dana was saying?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I really believe it's all in your approach. So if there's presidents on the call today and you're super excited about using this app and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get my members excited too? And encouraging them that, yes, it is in beta testing. And so we have the opportunity to be testing it and providing feedback. So use those resources. Email the technical email, go to the office hours, because the feedback that you provide when you're actively using the app is how we're going to create a much better experience down the road so that it becomes second nature for anybody wanting to use it. So definitely use your resources.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Dana, I can go ahead and tell you that I'm almost certain I know exactly what issue is pestering some of those members. So I'm going to reach out to you afterwards and solve that for you. It's just installing the newest version. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a glitch, but we have a new version out, which is the live version for any of you downloading new. And that will solve that issue of members not being able to join after they enter an ask. So I'll reach out to you after as well.
And to your point, Anna, when sometimes the presidents are trying to rally their chapters to get behind it, we have also had conversations with members who don't know anything about it because their presidents are hesitant. So we are doubling our efforts at communicating with everybody in the chapters, so that if your president is a little hesitant to use technology or is not such a fan of innovation as maybe the members in your chapter, you as a member, if you're on here and this is the first you're hearing about it, for example, reach out to your coach, reach out to your managing director, and also we'll have some office hours. Look on your calendar. We'll give you the details about office hours. Zach and I are doing twice a week so that you can ask the questions, download the app. You can use it even if your president is not talking widely about it. We don't want that to keep you from having the experience that some other people are enjoying. So please don't feel like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do, because, oh, there's something we can do. Yes.
And for those of you, by the way, who are saying that this feels a little buggy, it is. It is. This is a pilot program,
Right.
that we're working on for, the whole, world of BNI, that is only available in our core regions right now. So we really appreciate your patience with this, but we really need your feedback, positive or negative, so that we can learn exactly what we need to do to make this work really well in the future.
Absolutely.
So to that point, that is actually something I've been using for some of the chapters that I work with that are really hesitant to use this, to change. People fear change and innovation, even though it is one of our core values. Getting that buy-in is very important. And even if you take it slow, convincing people that they're the ones who get to shape this app.
Yeah.
Chapter members themselves are the ones that are going to have the say, be able to write in and say, hey, we really need something like this. We need something like this. We can go ahead and, this glitch is happening. It really is something that's being created by all BNI members, really helps people buy in a lot more. They have a lot more excitement over it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to stack in on that, Leah. And that's the cool thing about that, right, is that the more we get member feedback, that shapes the direction in which we go, right? So we have a whole laundry list because everybody writes in about all these great features. And the more people that say we want X feature, then that one moves up the ranking, right? And so that one gets done first. And so the more member feedback and engagement that we get in Online 2.0, the more directed it is exactly as the members are requesting, right? And so we solve the problems that you guys are asking for ahead of time. And so you guys really are the drivers and the creators of this. We're just behind the scenes, making sure that, typing as fast as we can and making sure that all of your information is captured so that we can create the best version of BNI Online 2.0 that really impacts you guys the most, right?
Yes. Should we do some Q&A? What do you think? I see lots of Q's that need some A's.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that. Do you want to first talk about the office hours?
Oh, yeah. Is that what you're looking at here? Nope. Come on, Jenny, get it together. What the heck? Oh, lots of animations. There we go. Let's talk about this. Zach, do you want to talk about what we've been doing in office hours?
Sure. Yeah. So every Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. on Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern, and at 9 a.m. on Thursdays in Eastern, we have office hours. And that's just an opportunity for everyone to stop in and ask any questions you have, provide any feedback you've got. And that's for anybody. Members, chapter success coaches, managing directors, we've had them all so far. Jenny and I have been great, and we actually split the conversation up based off of, are you having issues? And you work with me to help solve those. Whether that's, I've heard about BNI Online 2.0 and I don't even know where to find it, and I can help you with that, or I have, X problem with the installation process, or whatever that the step may be. And then there's also, so Jenny's been influential in helping with the, I'm a chapter success coach, I'm a managing director, and I'm having a couple of difficulties, or I'm a president maybe, and I'm having difficulty getting sort of adoption or encouraging my members or generating excitement on how and why we should use BNI Online 2.0. I personally am super stoked about it, but I'm having difficulty sort of portraying that to my members. And so we have tons of aids and guides and conversation pieces around that as well that we work through, and we can share with you guys in that meeting as well, that say, this is how we've been driving engagement. This is what other members are saying, right? Let's use some testimonials. This is how we've been doing this, or really just whatever your question may be across the board. We're going to have an answer for you in that meeting. So anytime, or if you guys can join any or all of these, I promise you'll learn something new every single week.
And they are all on your regional calendar. So if you just go to any of the December and January events, I've put them on all the Mondays and Thursdays between now and the end of January. We may extend them, but it may be that everybody's done and we're good and nobody needs them anymore. So we thought we would start with that to the end of January. You don't have to register ahead of time. Just put these dates on your calendar and know that if you go to the calendar itself on your regional website, you can just click on it, jump right into the meeting. Doors always open. Grab a cup of coffee. We'll chat with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. What about some cues?
Sure. I'll start with one while we're getting through them. I'll start with one that I saw in the chat earlier, and that were some people were saying that they can copy and paste into the application, and some people were saying that they can't. It seemed like there was a bit of a distraction there. That's one that's actually separated between Windows and Mac. Each one has their own set of bugs and features, if you will. And right now on a Mac version, you can't paste anything into it, whether that be your password, whether that be the ask of the week, whether that be anything. Unfortunately, right now it's not a feature. We're working on it to get it solved. We don't know why that was, but they're working on solving that. So if you're on a Windows, you absolutely can. You can copy your password, you can copy your ask of the week, whatever you need. You can pre-write it, copy it in. And those will all work, but on Mac versions, it's not region based, it's OS based for that piece. But I will say that for the ask of the week, and we should have talked about this then, but hyperlinks work. So if you put a web page in there, you need people to go to your website to write a review for you or whatever. You can write your website link into your ask of the week, and it'll automatically hyperlink it for you. So members can go in and click on it, regardless of Mac or Windows, can go in and click on that link, and it'll open the website in a different browser for you automatically. So links do work in the Ask of the Week section. And that's even obviously included in the download of the week, or the downloaded section of the Ask of the Week. If you put a web page or a link in that as well, they'll hyperlink there and you can work. So that's a cool feature that we added recently, is the hyperlinking piece where you can add web pages.
It's like magic.
Perfect.
Okay, what other questions are there, Steve?
Well, you know what, we should kind of go. By the way, one of the things I'm seeing are some very basic intro questions, which tells me that chapters that haven't done this yet are excited about starting it. So that's fantastic. So let's start with the very basics. I saw a couple of things in the chat and in Q&A about actually just starting to download the app itself. They can't find it in the Google store.
Right.
Where are they looking, Zach, to find this?
So this is a downloaded link and it's downloading through a web browser. So some computers have settings that are enabled that says, like, I can't download it unless it's from the Microsoft store. When we have communications around sort of avoiding that, you have to just activate that you can download it from any source. But most 99% of members will actually download it for a web page and a browser. And that goes through a hyperlink that we have. We'll share that afterwards as well, Steve, in this chat. So, but that hyperlink you fill out your name, your information, your email, which chapter you're a part of, and then it sends you an email. And in that email, it's got the correct downloadable package for you, whether you selected Windows or Mac. And then from that downloadable link is how you actually get BNI Online 2.0 installed on your computer. And we have installation guides for those as well, which we will include in the follow-up, Steve. So for any of you, really the quick answer is there's a link that we use that you fill out a form. Once you fill out the form, you get an email from us, and in that email is included your downloadable link.
Top secret, very, very special only.
It's still in beta, right? We can't publish this to the Apple Store or Microsoft Store, because then it's available for anybody and everybody. And right now it's just available for our US company and regions.
Okay, great. So so to be clear, after this webinar ends, I will upload this video with a private link to our BNI Team USA YouTube page. So you'll have this to watch again. You'll have the links from Zach as well. I'll send you as much information as I can in a separate email to everybody who's on right now.
Yeah, and it's on our screen right now as well. If you go to the HTTPS,
great,
and then the 2 backslashes bni.app/beta, or you scan that top right QR code. Those will also lead you to that exact same page. You can scan the QR code on your phone and then fill out the form on your phone. But as soon as you get that email, right, that email will have to then go to whatever computer you're downloading it on. But you can at least get the process started, similar to the one-to-one aspect of you can get the process started while you're in the call very quickly, but you will need to be on the correct device to download the link, right? You can't download it on a mobile phone.
Right, so you could do it now or wait, but there it is on the screen, or you can know that you can just click on it when the follow-up email comes.
Right. So those of you who are asking if this is part of BNI Connect, no, it is not.
Mhm.
Totally separate.
Completely separate to BNI Connect. That's correct.
It's more related to Zoom than to BNI Connect in that way.
That's correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is in essence, this is a designed to be the way that you should attend your chapter meeting every week, where you log into BNI Online 2.0, you enter your ask of the week, and then you're spit into your Zoom meeting. That is the intended purpose. And then we are adding extra features on top of that, right?
Right. And so there are some people who are asking about visitors or those who can't log in with 2.0 because they're on a mobile device when they attend their meetings.
Right.
What do they see? Do they see everything, but they just can't add to it? Is that how that works?
No, sir. So the way that it works is if you're a visitor or you can't log in through BNI Online 2.0 for whatever reason, you're on mobile, maybe your company doesn't allow it to access the firewalls, whatever the reason may be, you just join in Zoom, the quote unquote old fashioned way, right? And then you see the exact same thing that you're used to. It's just you're not going to get the BNI centric features that we've talked about today. It's just the standard Zoom meeting that we all know and love at this point. And so therefore, when you just join in the standard Zoom, you're just experiencing that side. And even as a member, right, when I join my chapter meeting, I'm still getting that same Zoom experience that I'm used to, whether I'm using 2.0 or not. 2.0 is a secondary window on top of that with the added features. So your meeting is still through the Zoom platform, and everybody gets to interact together, whether you join through Online 2.0 or not. But for those that do join through 2.0, you get the added features as well.
Okay, Kip's got a question about the PowerPoint itself. Does
Mhm.
that live within 2.0 or do we still need to run and store it separately?
It's still ran and stored separately, Kip. So this is just designed as a piece for you to access your meeting, but what goes on during your meeting is to stay the exact same. We did not want to interfere or interact with that at all. This is just a better way of you to get to the meeting. But once the meeting is started, the host will still run the slides, everything like that. That slide deck is still stored usually. Everyone still does the exact same thing during their meeting as usual. This is just an added features outside of the meeting that's ran the normal way.
Right. Okay, great. A couple of questions again in the chat about Chromebook. So a Chromebook looks like a fully functioning laptop, but it is internet based, as I understand it. So it's more like a mobile device than an actual desktop computer.
Correct. They have their own operating systems. I actually learned this today. And I think the person that asked that question sent me an email, and I was mid-email writing that answer to you before I had to hop on this call today. But so I'll still send that email to you with a better explanation. But a Chromebook has its own operating system that is not Windows or Mac based, and so therefore it's not offered at the moment.
Okay, Jessica's asking about when running the PowerPoint in 2.0, she can't see the timer.
I'm not sure why that would be. We use what's called a Zoom SDK, and what that is we stack on top of that. And so that Zoom SDK should be the exact same thing that you're used to in your standard Zoom meetings. And so that's how all of the features are still there. So if there's something wrong with the timer, it might be based on the PowerPoint or something like that. For that question, though, I would encourage you to reach out to, I'll plug it here on the front page, this BNI Online support at BNI.com. Or you can scan the left QR code and send me an email on that, and we can see if I can tackle and solve that for you directly.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, terrific. Let's see. Do you only have access to 2.0 before the meeting?
No, you can log into BNI Online 2.0 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever you'd like. As soon as you hit that landing page, the landing page is what I'm calling it. It's where you have to type in your ask of the week and then hit join. That same page in the top right corner, there's a menu. It's the 3 little kebab menu. And in that menu, you have access to all of the exact same features that you have within the application itself. So you can still see your member card with everybody's information on it. You can still see your stats and your chapter stats, as well as that ask download piece where you can download that Excel spreadsheet is also listed right there And that's before you even enter your weekly chapter meeting, right? So all of the information is available to you during, before, and after your meeting.
Okay. One of our chapter success coaches oversees an in-person meeting and uses an online computer to show the slides to everyone there. Can they use BNI 2.0 as well?
Yeah, if you're in a, everyone, tough actually. So it's really whether you have the correct settings enabled for your chapter. For that to really answer that question, I would direct that to your either this BNI online support at bni.com or maybe to your chapter success coach. Because there's a couple settings and things like that that you have to get set up correctly in order for it to work. But as long as those settings are correct, then you should be able to use BNI Online 2.0. That's correct.
Okay. Jim is asking about his chapter. Some people that work for certain businesses that don't allow, or IT companies do not allow the download of the app. Is there any kind of workaround for that?
At the moment, there's not. We're working on designing a version that doesn't ask for those same features. So that it doesn't penetrate the firewall is the best way of saying that, because that's what the IT departments are tend to block. And weird colloquially, I've heard a couple people that said that they've gotten that pop up and they've hit no, but the app has still worked for them. And I'm not sure why that is, whether somehow just hitting no gets through it somehow still, but in general, your answer is we're working on that. It's not a direct answer, but I do encourage everyone to try it at least once, because you might be surprised of whether it allows you in or not. Okay,
now 2 questions related to kind of logging in. The first one is, should there be, should a chapter before they go live do like a demo with the group to see how it works?
Absolutely, you're welcome to do so. You can demo it. I would encourage that so that you're more comfortable with it, right? So the more comfortable you are when you go to present it to your chapter, I think they can sense that comfort from you, and so you'll get a better experience. Absolutely. Maybe if you just meet with your chapter leadership team, the president, vice president, secretary, the 3 of you join online. So the meeting itself should be joinable at any time. So you can still join the meeting outside of your designated chapter's meeting slot. So you can all join in there, test it around, click a couple buttons, get familiar with it ahead of time before you go to you bring this idea to your chapter members. That's correct.
Okay. Can an individual member use 2.0 even if the chapter hasn't adopted it yet?
If your chapter is set up correctly, then yes. There's a little bit weighing on your president to make sure that Zoom settings are the same. So the way that it works is you have to change some settings in Zoom, and then you have to put that Zoom link in Connect just to make sure that everybody who's using standard Zoom is also the same people that's using, that you wind up in the same meeting together. But as long as those settings are correct, then yes, even if your chapter hasn't adopted it, you can be the first one to do so, and be the champion, if you will, for your chapter to get everybody else started on that process.
Okay. Drew is asking who to contact if they find a glitch. Do you go to the president or do they just contact you directly?
You can, I would encourage you to go to us directly. It's probably skip a few steps, but if you don't want to go to the BNI Online support email that's here, you're more than welcome to reach out to your president or your chapter success coach, or even maybe your managing director, because all of them should have received information and can maybe help troubleshoot that for you. But at the end of the day, this BNI Online support is also here to help you guys as much as possible.
Okay.
You're going to have a lot of emails by the end of this webinar, Zach.
And that's totally fine. I'm happy to answer all of them.
Right. Teresa's having a hard time finding the Ask of the Week function. Where is that located? So
the download piece for the Ask of the Week is again in that menu section. So when you're in the landing page or even in your meeting itself on the BNI based platform, in the very top right corner, there's 3 dots. It's above the secretary president, or actually it's above your chapter date and time. In the top right corner, there's 3 little dots, and that's a menu button for us. And in that menu, there's the drop down, and one of them says Ask Report, and that's where you can find the download. I think that's what you're asking for. Because the actual ask is you can't even join your meeting unless you physically enter the Ask of the Week in the very beginning. So,
all right, those are all our questions. I can't believe we knocked out all of them. Amazing. We're right at the top of the hour. Zach or Jenny or our panel, any final words about BNI Online 2.0?
I was giving others the opportunity. I feel like I've been speaking a lot, but I just want to take a quick thank you to all of you, as we've noticed that and mentioned that this is very much early in its stages. And so all of the feedback that we've been getting has been incredible. You guys have been so helpful in helping us narrow in and solve all of the problems that we're having. So as much feedback as we've gotten so far, I am incredibly thankful for that. And going forward, as much feedback as I'm sure you will all provide, I'm looking forward to, and I'm saying thank you ahead of time. So a very heartfelt thank you. We are working on this and making it better. And so the more we hear from you guys, the better it'll